You don't need to know a lot before you begin this course, but you do need to understand a few things. Of course, you need to know how to get around on the web and how to use search engines. I don't have time to teach the very basics of working online. You'll need to understand how to use a web browser, how to load web pages, how to use the basic tools of the internet. I'm assuming most people who've made it this far do have these basic skills.
More of an issue is web creation. This is not a course on creating web pages. I have to assume you know how to do that. However, there are many ways to create web pages these days. Writing HTML by hand, using an HTML editing tool such as Adobe's Dreamweaver or Coffee Cup Editor, or using a simplified site creation tool. Much of SEO has little to do with HTML, but we will be talking about HTML, hypertext markup language, the coding language of the web. You don't need to be an HTML expert, but you do need to understand a little. When I talk about the title tag, for instance, you need to have the ability to modify that text using whatever tool you're using. When I talk about H tags or the description tags, you need to be able to work on those tags either directly in the HTML or within whatever editing or site creation tool you're using. There are so many different ways to create web pages, hundreds of options, that I can't explain how to use each tool.
Rather, I'll use HTML as the basic unit when we do talk about coding, and you'll need to figure out for yourself how to get to that particular item in whatever editing or page creation tool you use. So if you know how to use your page creation tool, you'll be fine. You may just need to do a little research to figure out how to edit particular HTML components. But I don't want to make all this sound complicated. Most SEO doesn't involve complicated coding issues. In fact, the most complicated coding piece is structured data markup, which we'll look at in a later video. And as useful as structured markup can be, it isn't essential to an SEO campaign in most cases. And in any case, it's not terribly difficult to deal with. So I don't want to scare you into thinking you can't manage SEO. All you need is some basic page creation skills. If you know how to use your page creation tool, you know enough to use this course.